For those of you that have got loads of money to throw at Black Friday crates, I really hope you all get the Le Foudre because I didn't throw money at Black Friday crates. I picked this one up last year. I've had it pretty much on a year on the 2nd of December, and I'll perhaps link the video to my first play, first impressions of the Caprice. I want to use the title word there in yellow, but we're not supposed to use naughty words on YouTube. But just to give you a quick rundown of the build here, you can see that it's a Tier 7 Premium. We're running Reginald Tyre Wit, and we're running a torpedo build because I've not really had much luck with this as a gunboat. The reload is far too long. It's based on the Tier 7 French destroyer Le Fantasque, but it lacks the main battery reload booster, which would make it much more effective. Another thing about this ship is you do have the 3 sets of 3 torpedoes. However, the spread of those torpedoes at anything more than 1 kilometer away from your boat is so wide that you could literally sail a battleship through them. But we've got speed on our side, 42.7 knots as the top speed, and running literally full concealment on everything. We're down to 5 Ks, so it's not too bad. Looking at what we're up against, the Mogador and the Akatsuki there, so we've got Hayate and Caprice, or Mia the Caprice, and there's a couple of divisions out there, and yeah, I wasn't looking forward to this one. I've played a few games in this ship this afternoon trying to get a good game, and to be frank, the majority of them are average, even with a 66-second torpedo reload on this, running it the way I do. You really got to play hard to try and get any reasonable amount of damage. Now I'm looking behind me, and obviously spawning on B cap. I always say play the cap you spawn on, but no, everybody's just going to abandon B cap and head across to C cap. You'll also see that it's a carrier match, and I think the AA rating on this ship I think is 23, but that battleship there is going to learn why you don't sail broadside in a Vladivostok, because that happens to you. And he is going to turn and run away, because that was a hell of a shot. Must have been a double or a triple citadel, but what were we, a minute into the game and he's lost 90% of his health? Not a good start for Red Team. He is going to run. Now, I'm really concerned about being in the middle of this cap myself, because it is a carrier match. Both of those destroyers can potentially take me down, and if the carrier decides to come across this way, then I'm in real trouble. But there's the Mogador out there. I don't know where the Akatsuki is, and I'm just having to sail slowly at half speed through this cap. I'm not running twist and track or perceptive, because instead I've chosen to have torpedo range, and to be frank, this isn't anything but a very poor torpedo boat. I would take many Tier 7s, tech tree, never mind premiums, over this boat any day of the week. But we're going to come in, we're going to get a solo cap for Bravo cap. We do have cruisers nosed into Alpha cap, and those 2 battleships across there, the Richelieu and I think it's a Marco Polo, they're in division, but there's also a cruiser out there with them as well. But with the cruisers having to back off Alpha cap, I decide that I'm going to push in. It is risky business because I'm going to be very close to, I think it's the Amalfi, the Marco Polo and the Richelieu, and we've also got the Vladivostok heading in this direction, although I think what he's looking to do is sail away, heal up, and then get in on the bow. There's the Akatsuki. That is great for me because he is a long way away, and I'm thinking if these guys come sailing out past the end of this cap. We're going to put a couple out there where it looks like they're going to be, but these guys are going to slam on the anchors and drop it behind there, because there is a little niche behind there where they can sit on the cap and try and take it, but they must know that I am here in the middle of the cap. If anything, that Akatsuki probably wants to come back and help them, but it's a little bit too close for comfort for me, so I'm going to drop off that cap and we're going to push a little bit to the south. Now, difficult play. Cruiser, 2 battleships, destroyer, 4 ships out of 9 here on this cap. Rest of red team have stacked up on Charlie cap, but thankfully our team have been able to get in on that one. And knowing that these guys are going to be bow tanking those cruisers that are at the edge of A cap, I decide that I'm going to see if I can help them out by getting rid of this Vladivostok. I'm very close to detection from behind, and this reasonably fast torpedo reload is going to do us a favor here. Now you'll notice that literally I am going to fire single shot torpedoes all the way through this game. As I said, if I was to fire a widespread, even though they'd be potentially connecting at just under 8 kilometers, the spread on them would be so wide I would be lucky to get one. And then I realize how close I am actually to these guys, and they're stacked up one behind the other, and so we're going to put another spread out there at those guys, and then we're going to turn because we need to do a 180-degree turn to get the third set of torpedoes off. They are very quickly going to realize that they have got a destroyer behind them, and yeah, nobody likes it. But there's the Vlad. He's gone 1 torpedo 1. I'm happy with that. We've got torpedoes running on the other 2. Those are going to start landing. They must know now that a destroyer is down here. The fact that the single spread will tell them that it's me and the Caprice, and they are going to go into panic mode and start pushing. Now the Marco Polo is pushing straight forward, and in doing so he is going to push straight into another 2 torpedoes, and I'm thinking, do I push in for these guys or are they going to run? And as you can see, they're not doing a huge amount of damage. I think any other destroyer probably would have sunk that Marco Polo, but they're pushing forward. They're going out of range. They don't want torpedoes coming into them from behind, and so I decide that I'm going to turn away. We fire the guns thinking, can we get a fire on the Marco Polo here? But because of the build we're running, we lack main gun range, so we're going to get onto that Marco Polo. There's the cruiser out there. He knows there is a destroyer behind them. But we're going to turn and we're going to head away, because the other division of 2 battleships and their destroyer that's dead is out there on the left, and they are going to be running this way. And I did say it was a carrier match, and I normally don't go hunting aircraft carriers, but he seems to be focused all the way across there on Charlie cap, and that is good for me, because if his planes are heading in that direction, that means he's unlikely to bring them in my direction. He must know he's spotted now, and we are going to close down a little bit on this range, and we're going to wait for those torpedoes to be up. And again, he's obviously running autopilot. The team are taking some pot shots at him. We're going to put a little bit of a spread on here, but not very wide. It is pretty much a straight line, and then with a little bit of room to play for, we're going to turn round into him and potentially put that third set of torpedoes onto him. But the first 2 sets are looking pretty good. We're going to pop a smoke screen because, to be frank, after playing this cap, coming through the middle, contesting the other cap, I didn't want anybody else to be taking that kill away from me. But here we go. Torpedoes on. Boom, boom, boom. he is gone. 2 torpedoes, 1 flood, 1 kill, 121,000 damage. And what I will say is this was a new damage record and a new base XP record for me in this ship. So I thought it was a good example of show and tell. So we have got 2 caps, and again I've always said caps are king. You know, hold the caps. If you hold 2 caps for every every 10 ticks of the clock, so about once every 50 seconds or so, you are saving your team the points of killing at least 1 ship. And with that cruiser running me down, I want to get away from him. The rest of the team are pushing across this way now. The other destroyer is probably still chasing our aircraft carrier. There is a battleship out there bow tanking those 2 battleships in division. The Amalfi, yeah, he probably knew there was torpedoes coming. The fact I'm located, I'm thinking, is it the Amalfi or am I just closest to the destroyer? I don't want to bump into this Akazuki because he will chew chunks off me. But here we go. Let's try and go for a cheap shot. We get ourselves spotted. Not quite enough. Again, the guns on this are very, very poor, to be honest. And there is the shots coming in from the Akazuki, but he's out of range. But we now know where he is, at least, which means that we can push forward and head back into Alpha Cap. The Akazuki, meanwhile, is pushing in this direction, and I don't think he realizes that there is another destroyer coming in this direction, and he has got a ship behind him for backup, although that ship looks like it's going to turn up through Bravo. So I'm picking the map, saying, hey, look, can we have a look down here? The only thing that tells me he's there was the shots that he took at us earlier. And because my guns are crap, I'm actually allowing that other destroyer to run him down. But there we are. There's the Akazuki. We're going to put some shots out there. 8.5 second reload because we're running a torpedo build. He slows down. We get another salvo up in the air against him, land a couple of shots again, but he goes out to the Hayate, who's running quite a solid gunboat build by the looks of it. Nice to see. I sometimes run my Hayate that way as well. But we're going to push forward. Having those caps has given us dominating control of this game. We're on 978 points, and I'm going to sail onto this cap, even though I know unless we lose the ship now, this game is in the bag with 4 minutes to play. So there is the Craprice. Certainly not the best boat in the business, certainly not my preferred tier 7 choice, but I thought if you're going to throw your money at crates, you should at least know what you're getting yourself into, potentially, if you pick up this boat. So we finished top of the board, 2,845 base XP, which isn't bad at all, really. But certainly it's better than the average games that I've played. But as a money maker, this is without boosters, 476,000 credits in the bank, and so not too shabby. And if you want to see my stats for the boat, there they are. You can see there that we did get max damage and max XP for that one. Most kills we've had in the game is 4, and I'll perhaps link that video because it was the first game that I played in it. So if you fancy a little bit of French with a little bit of English, and we all know that English mustard is the best and French is trash, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, let me know if you've got the Craprice, how you've been doing it, what build you've got on it, and if you've got a video on YouTube, please do link it and I'll go along and watch it. Until next time, take care of yourselves and goodbye.